Well, good morning. So, just woke up from a little power nap. It's time to get the show on the road in the green car. When I put the motor together, I messed up. I'm pretty sure I either scuffed the crank, the rear main for the crank, this little guy, or I didn't put enough Loctite on the flywheel bolts, and those are through bolts for the crank, and I got a little oil drip in the back. Fix the transmission. Transmission leak is great. That little oil spot, they're all a bunch of oil spots, but there's one that's like shiny right in the back of the trans. That's actually from the motor, and I put this in when I got back from work. We got like a little drip, and she be dripping oil right in the bell housing. Not a big deal. That clutch I had was actually kind of slipping anyways. So I went ahead and got a stage 2 LOS clutch. I wasn't gonna get the 3 like Rashawn's, but the 2 came with a new slave cylinder. And if I end up turboing in the future, I'm gonna do a twin disc. So I was like, yeah, I'll wait. But got me another rear cover alignment tool, so I don't have to do it the old school way and chance not lining up the timing cover, because it could also be that. But I'm pretty sure I scuffed it with the flathead when I was messing with it. So the moment we jack the car up, we're going to pull the trans out, trans jack. Luckily, we're going to do it the easy way. We're not going to take the bell housing off. We're going to take the actual trans off and then the bell housing off. Because with my car, the way the mufflers are, or not the mufflers, the manifolds that we have welded, I have to like pick the motor up and drop it to get the bell housing in like cockeyed, and I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm gonna take the trans off itself, leave it on the jack, then mess with everything in there with the bell housing and such. But so our goal today is to get this boy in, new seal. I'm gonna go get some PTFE sealer too, instead of Loctite. And I'm going to use that on the flywheel just to guarantee that I got a full seal. Ooh, got a nice little clutch master, which this brand was great on Rashawn's. That was a stage 3. It's like rated, I think it's 597. This one's rated to it's like 580, 5 something. It's still up there, but it is a normal carbon clutch. And yeah, she's a little thicker than the other one though, but yeah. So I'll go to the auto store later. That gives me a reason to get something to eat. So I'll get y'all on the tripod, get the car on the ramps, jack the rear up, and get to work on this mofo. So yeah, but yeah, besides that, everything else has been great. I haven't had any leaks up front. Oh, actually no, I think I need a new belt tensioner, because this, when it was cold on the way home, it was like rubbing at high RPM. So I don't know if the belt stretched, because I mean it's pretty tight here. It's just loose right here on this end, and I don't know why. Or maybe it's just because there's so much room between the pulleys. Or maybe it's because I need a better tensioner. I'm not too sure. But I have the belt number on there. I can swap that belt for this belt, which I think this belt was not new anyways. But we'll get it all assessed and situated. I don't see it getting too loose because it's not really hitting that at all. So that's a good sign. But tripod time. Yeah, tripod time, and let's get to work, take this trans out, shall we? Showtime. This is why I like voice audio on the GoPro. This is why I fucking hate transmissions. Here I am trying to save the fluid that I just put in it, just to have this little POS get stuck in the funnel and pour 4 gallons of transmission fluid all over the floor, which my body will be under for a couple of hours. So, need to go back to Dollar General, get some more freaking towels for the shop. Fuck you, dude. It's a struggle, dude. I'm cursed. I have a curse. I'll scream it out loud to all the people in the world. So, you know what's funny too? When we pulled Rashawn's motor out, we put a Ziploc bag on the end, and it busted too. So, I'm cursed. Oh, it's the mailman. Thought it was Rashawn. That'd have been cool. Fuck you, bitch. You piece of shit. Actually, no, I can't say that because it's gonna blow up now. So, I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna go ahead and plug the GoPro into the extension cord for charging non-stop, since I'm gonna be under here the whole day. And yeah, then I'll start the time lapse again. So, this sucks. I'm not happy right now. I'm all slimy, like, ugh. But anyhow, GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop capture. Ugh. Well, I got the trans out. I got the trans out, and it's flooded in there. I thought this was clutch fluid that was actually leaking, but it's not. I hit the damn hard line for the clutch line, but there's definitely oil in there. I mean, it's slimy. It smells like oil. It doesn't smell like clutch fluid or brake fluid. That's what I use, so same shit, different name. But yeah, so if you ever did a T56 swap in something, make sure you're on time lapse. No, you're not. Yeah. it's not that hard. It's 8 bolts for the trans to the input, or the bell housing. And with the lovely help of my father-in-law's tool here, shout out to Terry for helping me the fuck out all the time. Even when he's not here, he's helping me. It's crazy. And if you ever do a T56, don't do it by yourself, because these motherfuckers are heavy as shit. They're heavy, okay? But, hello? It's not bad. It's not good. But it's definitely due. So now that I have all this room for activities, now I can take the bolts off the bell housing, pull it off the side. The worst smell in the world is trans food. It's radiating under here. I'm gonna get a fan, make it blow that way. I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't like it. I gotta pull, fuck. I should have got a remote bleeder for this slave cylinder. Yeah, oh well. Done it the same way. Actually, how many times I pulled this thing out? 3 to 4 times? I know I'm rambling. Pulled the motor out by myself and a trans within a month. And I don't really feel bad about it, honestly. I'd love to build like LS swap vehicles and just like give them away or sell them. In fact, if I made YouTube profit, that would be a fun thing to do. I've also wanted to get a Miata, put a K20 in it, and put a tractor flap on the top of the hood. That'd be cool. I also want food. Panda Express is pretty sounding bussin'. B-Dubs is sounding bussin'. But yeah, the more I talk, the longer I sit in this concrete infested trans fluid. So I'm trying to do it as clean as possible. Once I get this all off, I'll time lapse it. Just why not? Actually, no, I'm not going to time lapse this because I'm going to save my GoPro footage. I'm literally going to take the bell housing off, the pressure plate, and then the flywheel, and then I'll record again and we'll see where it's leaking. It could be the input bolts, the flywheel bolts, because they're through bolts, and I might not have put enough Loctite. I don't think I put enough Loctite in them. So if that's the case, I'll go get some PTFE sealer, put it all in that bitch. It could be the rear main sealed to the crank. I might have fudged it up with the flathead. Or I could be losing my mind and it's something leaking else. It can't be the barbel, but I do have a new oil barbel. It could be the oil pan to the timing cover as well, but I siliconed the piss out of it. And I'll do that again here in a minute. So I'm going to stop recording, stop mumbling, and get this bell housing off. So GoPro stop recording. All right. The bell housing is off. And I noticed some burn spots on the pressure plate to the clutch. And it definitely has got some sort of like oily residue over the whole thing right here. So like this whole clutch, like powder juice is like putty. Usually this shit's all dry. So there's definitely been oil or something spinning around in there. And of course I could see it all over the back of the plate. But we just don't know what it actually came from yet until we take the flywheel off, which we're going to do now. Oh no. I definitely see oil on the thread, so yeah, it's probably a couple of these bad boys. If you need an impact, get yourself a freaking DeWalt. This thing's badass. got it from Tractor Supply, 200 bucks. By far the best 200 bucks I've ever spent. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that looks like I didn't have enough Loctite on there. See how shiny it is at the base? There's definitely been oil leak. I mean, look at that. You can see it right here, like gooping. That's a funny word to use. Ugh, last time I did this, I mashed my hand with the flywheel, so let's not do that today. If it falls, it falls. Oh yeah, there's oil. Yeah, I bet you that was my, or one of them at least, dilemma. All right, here fucking goes nothing. All right, you heavy bastard. Oh no, if you could see that. You see that shiny oil right here in the threads? It's all on the back side of it too. It's probably our, it's probably our issue there. Ah, no. Yeah. It looks like I put the O-ring on wrong too. I don't know if you can. I'll grab you here in a minute. But from the looks of it, it was probably, I don't know if it was leaking from the, I don't know. It could have been the seal too, honestly. So, I don't freaking know. It's one of the two. Not a big deal, really. All I gotta do is get a tin and pull this apart. Go get some brake cleaner, clean the piss out of it. But I can see the crank, through the crank holes. I mean, all this right here, it's definitely from the bolt holes. So, not really a big deal because I didn't order the new clutch. But now I ordered the new clutch, so it's a good thing I didn't put it in yet because I probably would have ruined a $400 clutch. So, not a big deal. I'm going to go get some brake cleaner, some PTFE sealer, some thread lock, and some food. And we'll come back. But, let me grab you real quick. I mean, look at the crank. I wiped off that oil, but like the crank holes, they've been weeping. And look at it, it's all at the top. It's all over the place. I don't think it's my corners. I silicone those pretty well. I'm gonna have to go get some more silicone for that too, but I will show you real quick the tool, the proper tool. Instead of using the other O-ring to align it, I've used, which might have also been my issue. There's a tool you can buy. There's a tool you need to buy if you're ever gonna do that. And it's this little thing right here. It's a rear cover alignment tool. You want the front cover one too. But luckily my front cover's on there good because I did that outside of the car. But what this is it literally, it's got the O-ring and everything. You take your current gasket out, we put this in and align it, loosen all those bolts, put this in, and it aligns the crank to the timing cover. Then we tighten that all down. Then we pull this one out and we use this to hammer in the new seal. So I'll show you that when I get back. It's been, how long did it take for me to pull that all out? Oh, it is 1:44, so probably an hour and a half, honestly, because I had to let the dogs out. Yeah, about an hour and a half, not a big deal. Not bad at all, honestly. Not too messy either. I got gloves on today, so I'm gonna go get some stuff real quick, some food, take a break, and the fan. I need the fan because it's starting to get hot outside. It's been great all week. Now it's gonna get hot today, so that kind of pisses me off. But yeah, we're getting there, so I'll see y'all in a minute, and we'll go from there. Alrighty. We have finally got to the point of putting it back in the car, or the new seal on. Went ahead, brake cleaned the crap out of this all. Cleaned up the cover, of course. What the goal is, I got new seals and everything, which is awesome. But what we're gonna do is basically, you always want to put RTV on these corners because there is a perfectly good gap, and you want, sometimes they just leave. That's basically the front and the rear. I always put a glob in these corners. I'm not the only one. There's other people that do it, of course, but why not have that little bit of extra insurance and just get her done, you know? Just fucking send her, eh? So I'm gonna put some good old RTV over here, and I put a thin layer on the block, and then I put it on the bottom of the timing cover right here, and on this side, of course. Just basically this edge is where you want it the most. So if it gets on the bottom, it gets on the bottom. Insurance, baby. We're gonna put a little bit on each side. And now I got this sucker gooing out. Put it over here. It's whatever. I got more. I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom just because I have extra. I'm gonna thin it out like crazy. You want it in the corners. It's not gonna hurt to do the bottom though. You never know. So I got that done. Before that tacks up, get my new gasket. You want to put them on both sides of that, because if you just do it on the block and not the cover, then you only got one side of this gasket, so you don't F yourself. So the goal here is to get this on here in the right orientation, which that is the right one, and we want to put a couple of bolts. Uno, dos, 3 is fine, I think, 3 or 4. 3. All right, and then oh, that one fell out, no big deal. So we're gonna put it on here, and we're going to put it on the thing and just kind of thread them in just a little. Don't tighten it down or anything. Of course, you don't want to take your sweet time, because you know you got RTV sealing itself, but you also want to take your time so you don't F anything up. I'm trying to get this bottom right here kind of lined in. It's kind of being a little asshole right here in this little piece. Just kind of give her a little love turn. Nothing too crazy. There she is. Maybe. I don't know. Come on now. Need you to cooperate. Alright, got her threaded. 1, I got 3 in here right now. 4. Alright, so we got a good seal, but I'll also take your new seal out if you get the new cover with the seal. We put our tool in right here. We kind of just love tap her in there, and what this does, where's my wood? Where's my block of wood at? What this does is it aligns the cover to the crank before you put the new gasket in. About got her on. Give her a little push. And that's about, yep, that's about perfect all the way around. So now we have the crank aligned. You can see here though, you can still technically, okay, there's no oil, there's an oil pan on it, but it would still teeter-totter left to right. But luckily we got the oil pan on here, so it's not that big of a deal. But when you're doing this, maybe use a level on the bottom of the block if the motor's already out. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to thread these in ever so gently. And what that's gonna do, be careful with these two, because it's like 9 foot, it's like 105 or 6 foot-pounds, or no, foot inches. So you don't want these freaking effed up. But as I'm going to ugga-dugga it, don't do what I do. But we're gonna thread her on there a little bit. Nice little seal. And then you might have saw it kind of teeter-totter. So it's flush. It's flush with itself now, right? So we know that this gasket, when I put it in, is flush with this crank. Now you notice up here though, all this stuff is still loose. So we're going to put all those on. If I can find the deadgum bolts right here. And we're gonna tighten the cover plate off now. And then we'll pull off the little tool here. Once I get these bad boys put in here. Of course, there's like 50 bajillion of them. Which I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, I technically am. But someday I will make enough money on YouTube. Someday that I will own a shop. And I'll have a lift. Someday. That's every dude's goal. Starting a family's a goal. Having a freaking lift. Facts. It's big facts right there. I'm preaching it right now, dude. But, alright. I'm going to hand tighten these all in. Give her the ugga dugga dooga on the ones around the timing cover. Uno. Doso. Treso. Something-o. Something-o. I don't know the rest of the word numbers. My non-bilingual ass. Oh. Come on, you little. There you go. There you go. And these get torqued down to, I think it's 18 foot-pounds? 18 or 22, it's one of those. I'm pretty sure it's 18. But I'm sure 22 to survive. But now that they're tied on there, this little bad boy can, well, I can attempt to waller her out. She on there good, that's a good sign. We'll get her little pry areas here. I forgot where the other two are. Should be 3. Where's the third? Of course, the screwdriver can't really get in there. There we go. And now we know from the looks of it, it looks, I make sure those little, oh damn it, make sure those tabs aren't rubbing on the, what you would call it, the crank at all, which it does not look like it, which is a great sign. And yeah, so we got her in. Does not seem to be rubbing anywhere. We got them on there good. Good sign, good deal. So now, we take our new seal. And you insert the sides dry. I'm gonna take some of this oil though, and I'm actually going to lube up this little crank here. And you'll read on the inside of it, it'll tell you what side goes out. It says right here, this side out in the black rubber. And you don't take the plastic thing off, keep that on. So we know this side goes in first. And you literally are gonna put it on there like so, right? And see how it just hangs on the crank? We take our big boy here, we're gonna put it right on top of it, and we're gonna just give her a push. All right, so I got it pushed on there to where this tool is hanging off. Now I'm gonna get my piece of wood, and I'm gonna give her the sauce. I need a lift. I need room. All right, I need a better way of doing this as well. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, and from the looks of it, the crank gap is all the way around good, and it looks like it, yep, it's around it perfectly around the crank as well. It's great. And just like that, you got your seal in. And I'm gonna cut the video and put the rest of it on. But before I cut the video, when you're putting these bolts back in for the flywheel, you need to put some, don't worry, I got it. You need to put some thread sealer on there. Fucking douse that shit. Because this crank here, if you're working on this, actually, you know what? I'm about to put you down anyways. See that crank hole? You can see the inside of the motor. So if these bolts are, oh, freaking sun. If these bolts don't have any kind of sealer on them, I didn't put enough thread lock on them. You can see at the head of them, all that oil residue, that came off when I loosened it before I took off the flywheel. So I'm going to soak those in some Parks cleaner while I clean up this monstrosity right here. See all that oil? Yeah, that came from that little bolt holes in that little tear. So yeah. So I'm gonna douse all this. I'm gonna save my corners. I'm just gonna douse over here where I didn't douse. And I'm going to put my new pilot bearing in, which is gonna go in the freezer. So I'm gonna take another break for a few hours. I should have put it in the freezer last night, but I didn't. So it's gonna do it. It's gonna get its work in, and then we'll put everything back in the car, and we'll test drive it and see if she leaks.